to Staff Works Explained. If it's your first time here, I'll encourage you to subscribe to this channel. For the repeat viewers, we thank you for the support that you have accorded this channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about the Brics Summit in South Africa, which will be held from 22nd to 24th August in 2023. In this video, we'll be talking about what the summit will focus. The Brics is emerging as a strong economic competitor. We'll see how. We'll be looking at the challenges that it presents to polar perspective. We'll be looking at the expansion which is proposed. We'll be looking at the benefits and challenges that this presents. And then we'll be talking about Putin's possible attendance to the Brics Summit in South Africa. The 15th Brics Summit will be held in Durban, South Africa from 22nd to 24th August in year 2023. The summit will be attended by the leaders of the 5 Brics countries, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The summit is expected to focus on various issues which include the global economy and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, trade and investment, climate change, security and geopolitics, and the expansion of this group. The summit is expected to discuss the future of the Brics grouping, where the Brics countries have been working to deepen their cooperation in a number of areas, and the summit is expected to provide an opportunity to discuss ways to further this relationship. The Brics Summit is a significant event for South Africa. It is the first time that South Africa is hosting this summit, and is an opportunity for the country to showcase its economic and political strength to the world. The summit is also an opportunity for South Africa to play a leading role in shaping the global agenda. The Brics countries are some of the fastest growing economies in the world, and they have a combined population of over 3 billion people. The Brics grouping has the potential to be a major force in the global economy, and the summit is an opportunity for the countries to reaffirm their commitment to working together. As the 15th edition of the Brics Summit approaches, the alliance should soon expand with the arrival of several African countries. In particular, Anil Sukar, the South African ambassador to the Brics, confirmed on April 24th during an interview that 13 countries had officially submitted application to join the group of emerging economies, specifying that this announced enlargement of the organization will be at heart of the debates at the Brics conference, which is scheduled to be held from June 2nd to 3rd in the year 2023 in Cape Town, South Africa. For the moment, only a few names of African countries wishing to join the Brics have been revealed, among them Algeria, Egypt, Nigeria, which is already a member of Brics MNA. There is also Sudan and Zimbabwe. This enlargement aims to reinforce the importance of the economic alliance on the international scene. Brics MNA stands for Brics Member Nations of West Africa. It is a forum that was established in 2013 to promote cooperation between Brics countries and African Union. The forum is co-chaired by the rotating chair of the Brics and the chair of African Union. Brics is emerging as a strong economic competitor. In 2014, the Brics launched the National Development Bank, their own bank, to thwart the current global financial system established after the Second World War by the Bretton Woods Agreement. The Multilateral Development Bank, established by the Brics, aims at promoting sustainable development in Brics and the other emerging economies and developing countries. The NDB is headquartered in Shanghai, China, and has regional offices in Johannesburg, South Africa, Moscow, in Russia. The bank initial authorized capital was $100 billion, and its initial subscribed capital was $50 billion. The NDB has been active in several areas, including infrastructure development, where it has financed several infrastructure projects in Brics and also in other emerging economies and developing countries. These include roads, railways, power plants, and airports. There is also sustainable development, where the bank has financed several projects that promote sustainable development. It has also provided technical advice or technical assistance to developing countries to help them develop and implement their development plans. NDB has been praised for its focus on sustainable development and its commitment to helping the developing countries. However, the bank has also been criticized for its lack of transparency and accountability. The NDB is a significant development in global financial system, where the bank focuses on sustainable development and its commitment to helping developing countries address the challenges that they are facing in the global economy. It's also the Brics is also playing a great role, and it wants to be recognized as one of the bodies in the global governance. The economic giant has been demanding for several years a greater role in the bodies of global governance and the transition to the multipolar order. Despite a combined economy representing 1.5 of the global GDP and a population of 3.2 billion, the group has only 15% of voting rights at the World Bank and the IMF. Brics have been demanding for several years a greater role in these bodies of global governance and possible transition to multipolar order. This means that Brics wants to have a greater say in how the world is run and wants to see the world where we don't only have one dominant power, and that's the United States and perhaps European Union. The Brics has a number of reasons for wanting a greater role in global governance. First, the combined GDP of Brics countries is now larger than the G7 countries. Brics also has a major player in a number of global industries, including manufacturing, technology, finance, among others. And also Brics economies are growing, and these are natural, and it's only natural that they will want to have a greater say in how the world is run. Brics is also concerned about the current global order, which sees it as being dominated by United States and the European Union. Brics believes that these countries have used their power to promote their own interests at the expense of the other countries. Brics want to see a more balanced global order where all countries have a say on how the world is run. Brics also is concerned about the rise of nationalism and protectionism in the globe, and it believes that these trends are a threat to global peace and stability. Brics wants to see a world where countries cooperate with each other to solve common problems. Of the proposed expansion of the Brics, this is one of the areas that perhaps will be discussed in this summit, and it's a very significant development that will have a major impact on the global economy and geopolitics. The expansion would have to make it this bloc more powerful, and it will have a greater say in global affairs. This could lead to a more multipolar world with less dominance by the United States and to extension the European Union. The expansion of the Brics could also lead to increased cooperation between member countries on a range of issues such as trade, investment, and infrastructure development. This could lead to a boost in economic growth and developments on the concerned countries. However, there are also some potential challenges associated with this expansion. One of them is member states have different political and economic systems. This could lead to a difficult when reaching consensus and on a number of issues. There's also a possibility that there might be increased competition between member countries for resources and markets, and this could lead to probably tensions and conflict. Overall, the proposed expansion is significant for development, and there is a potential that it will have a major impact on the global economy and geopolitics. It is important to carefully consider the potential challenges and opportunities before making a decision on whether or not to expand the bloc, and this decision that probably will be made during the summit. Some of the cons, as we have seen, include competition for resources and markets, difficulty in reaching consensus on a number of issues, and also potential conflict between member states. For the pros or advantages, we see increased economic cooperation and growth, increased political cooperation and influence, and also we'll have a more multipolar world order. People are waiting with bated breath to see whether Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, will attend this conference. Well, it's early to say whether he will attend or not. The Bric summit in August 2023. There are a number of factors that could affect this decision to attend this conference, and one of them is the ongoing war in Ukraine and also the sanctions that have been imposed on Russia. If Putin does attend the summit, it will be the first major foreign trip since the beginning of this war. His presence would be seen as a sign of defiance by the West, and it could further escalate the tensions. However, it is possible that Putin will choose to stay at home in order to avoid further isolation from international community. South Africa has welcomed Putin to the Brics summit, and South Africa government has said that they will not arrest him if he attends the summit, despite the fact that he is wanted by the ICC, International Criminal Court for War and Crimes. South Africa government decision to welcome Putin has been met with a lot of criticism from the West. The United States, United Kingdom, and the European Union have all called on South Africa to reconsider this decision. They have argued that Putin's presence at the summit would legitimize his actions in Ukraine, and this would send a wrong message. It would be seen as supporting him. South Africa government has defended its decision, saying that it is important to maintain a dialogue with Russia. The government has also said that it is committed to principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries. If Putin does attend the Brics summit in August 2023, it is likely to have a number of consequences for South Africa. First, there is likely that there will be damage of relationship between South Africa and Western countries. The United States and the United Kingdom and the European Union have all called on South Africa to reconsider the decision of welcoming Putin to the summit. If Putin does attend, it is likely that this country will further take steps to isolate South Africa, such as imposing sanctions and also reducing trade. Second, it is likely to damage South Africa's reputation on the world stage. South Africa is a member of the United Nations Security Council and is seen as a leader in Africa. By welcoming Putin to the summit, South Africa is sending a message that is willing to overlook Russia's actions in Ukraine. This could damage South African credibility and make it more difficult for countries to play a leading role in international affairs. Thirdly, there is also a likelihood to be protest and demonstration in South Africa. There is an already great deal of opposition to the war in Ukraine in South Africa, and Putin's presence at the summit is likely to further galvanize this opposition. There's a possibility that these protests could turn violent, which could further damage South Africa's image. However, the West should respect South Africa's decision to welcome Vladimir Putin to the Brics summit in August. South Africa is a sovereign nation and has the right to decide who it invites to its events. The West should not try to pressure South Africa to change its decision, and this would damage relations between the two countries or the two sides. The West should consider or should remember that South Africa has a long history of an alignment and also relationship with Russia. The country has also has always been committed to the principle of peaceful coexistence and has refused to take sides in conflicts between other countries. South Africa's decision to welcome Putin to the summit is in line with this tradition of non-alignment. The West should also consider the impact that its actions could have on South Africa. If the West continues to pressure or to force South Africa to change its position, it is likely to damage relations between the two sides, and this could make it more difficult for the West to work with South Africa on other areas such as climate change and the fight against poverty or terrorism. The West should therefore respect South Africa's decision to welcome Vladimir Putin to the Brics summit in August 2023. This would be the best way to maintain good relations between the two sides and also ensure that they can continue to work together on issues of common interest. We'll be waiting to see how this unfolds during the Brics summit and also in the coming days. So thank you for watching this video. If you have come this far, we thank you. If you have not subscribed to this channel, also please subscribe. Watch other videos that you have made on other topics, and we welcome you for more videos in future.